solve an equation for any variable, you will be using inverse operations. And while there's a lot of questions on this page, they're all really quick one-step problems, and then we will get into some of our harder ones next week. So example 1 just asks us to solve each equation for x. So you want to identify the variable, you want to isolate that variable. So what would I need to do to both sides? Aiden?
Add 5.
Add 5. So we'll get x equals y plus 5. Excellent. How about the next one? What would I need to do to isolate the x? Should I grab my screen track? Tyler? Divide a by 7. So we have x equals a divided by 7, which is also 1/7 a. Very nice. And then how about example C? What would you need to do to solve this one for x? Connor? Good. We see division of 3, fraction parts division, so we're going to do the inverse, which is to multiply by 3 on both sides, and we'll get x equals 3b. What would I do in example 2a to solve for x? And?
Add a.
Add a. Happens to be on the other side. And it doesn't matter if you put a plus b or b plus a, because addition, remember, has the commutative property that says you can flip them around. Next one, if you're not volunteering, I'm going to volunteer you. John?
Divide by a.
Divide both sides by a. Okay, you would want to put a big division bar over there, so leave it b minus c all over a. And if you want, you could put parentheses around the numerator. And then our last one, see what we do to both sides. These are one-steppers. Jeremy?
Multiply by y.
Multiply by y. All right, now some of them are going to look like this, and they'll have formulas involved with just different letters. So this is your distance formula. Distance equals rate times time. And they want you to solve this one for r. So what would I do to both sides? Just solve that for r. I want to isolate r by itself. What operation do we see? What's the inverse of that operation? Marcus? Divide by t. We see multiplication of t. We'll do division of t. So we'll get r equals d divided by t. All right, now the next one I'm going to change. Area equals 1/2 base height. Who remembers what shape that's for in geometry? 1/2 base height. And?
Triangle.
Triangle. Very good. Let's say I asked you to solve this one for b. What would I need to do? I need to move the half and the h over using inverse operations. Doesn't matter which one you choose to do first. Aiden?
Multiply by 2.
Multiply by 2. Good. That's going to undo the 1/2, make that 1. So we'll have 2a equals 8. BH, excuse me. And we're solving this one, I said, for b. So the last thing would be to undo multiplication with division. So we'll divide by h. And for any of you that will struggle because there's so many letters, it does help if you keep circling the variable you want to solve for, so you're keeping in mind that's the one I want to keep on that side and move everything else over. So we should get b equals 2a divided by h. Trying to think about your homework, which other ones might be tricky, so we can get to just a couple. We'll do this one. I equals PRT, which is interest formula. How would I solve this one for P? What operation is going on between P, R, and T? Parker, what operation is going on between those three things? Multiplication. They just don't write it. So the inverse of multiplication is division, and you can actually divide by R and T at the same time. we'll get P equals I divided by RT. Okay. Probably go to 5B on the back. How would I solve this one for Y? What would I need to do first? This one, it does matter what order you do your steps in. Aiden?
Subtract 1.
Good, you do need to undo addition or subtraction first. Now, we don't know what x minus 1 is, so we'll just leave it x minus 1. 15y equals x minus 1. And if you want, you could put parentheses to like group that. And then we all know we would divide by 15. Alright, now I'm just going to add a couple on here. You guys have space on that back paper. Just because I know there's a couple you're going to struggle with on your homework. The front page should be fine. Let me just add a couple here. Let's call this C. So many letters. And in this one, we're going to solve for x. What would I need to do to solve this for x? Aiden?
Add y plus c. Or
Not added. What operation is going on between x and that parenthesis? This is multiplication.
to distribute the x.
You can do that, but it's going to make your problem a lot longer.
Okay.
Okay? And a lot of students would tell me the same thing because you're using the distributive property. But we want x to stay by itself. So if you were to distribute x, you then would have two x's showing up, and it'd be harder to solve for x. So really you're going to think, what operation is going on between these two things? Multiplication. The inverse is division. You can divide both sides by this whole parenthesis set. I know it looks weird, but since those two things are being multiplied, the inverse would be to divide them. So our answer would be x equals yz over the quantity y plus z. And you don't really need the parentheses as long as you have a big division bar. Let me make up another one. Oh, time for one more. Alright, a equals b squared plus 1/2 a, nope, bc. And we're going to solve for b. No, solve for c. So these are almost identical to some of the homework ones in the back. I'm just like changing the letters. When you get there, if you come back and look at some of these. All right, so solving for C, again, it's going to help you guys to just kind of like draw attention to what you want to isolate. So what am I going to have to do first to both sides? Aiden?
subtract by half b.
No. I do need to subtract though, but not by half b. Marcus?
By b squared.
Yes, we need to subtract the b squared. These two things are the things being added. So we need to undo addition or subtraction. And then you would need to multiply by 2 and divide by b. Or divide by b and then multiply by 2.